It's a Monday. We're having a little case of the Mondays. We're trying to get something squared up for y'all. We'll tease that. There's a little tease for you, Maybe stick around a little bit. Let us know what we're talking about. Got a little graphic for you.
I think I'm still in Houston.
I think you're still on the way back from Houston. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Monday, the 17th of May, 2021, at Studio 44. Welcome everyone to the Paul Rodriguez Show, coming live to you in the studio. Producer James, putting things together, getting things right. How was the weekend, bud? I know you were on a real road trip.
Yeah, it was good. It was good to get away for a little bit. We hadn't been on it was like a one-day little getaway.
Just you two, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
No children, nobody tagging along?
There's some heavy drinking going on, so, can't have the young ones around.
I don't know nothing about that.
No, but it was good, man.
Yeah.
Nice little getaway, yeah.
What route did y'all take? How did y'all get to Houston from Central Texas?
Straight to I-10.
Straight to I-10?
I-10, yeah.
183 to I-10?
On the way back, dude, it was like backed up for at least, I want to say like 3 miles. There was like a wreck heading like towards Houston.
This sounds about right. Were y'all still in Houston, or were y'all outside of Katy? Where were y'all?
Yeah, right there outside.
You're trying to leave?
Yeah.
Figures.
I was like, let me out, and it was raining and stuff. It was like an hour after we left Houston, it cleared up, so it wasn't that bad.
That's how it happens, man.
Yeah,
all the time. That's how it happens in Houston.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into a little bit of NFL Dallas talk about their schedule coming up and where they're ranking on the year for the difficulty of schedule. Then we're also going to get into a little bit of talk of UFC 262 and do a recap. Producer James was live there, sending live feed updates of Dana White glad handing. Also a great view of the seats that he had, which he paid a premium for, which we talked about last week. I don't know, man. I don't know. I was like, all power to you. I will never, ever pay that much unless, things are different. If we have a million subscribers on this channel, then probably, may spend a little $400 on a ticket. But until then, hell no, I ain't spending. That's great for you, but I would never do that. But I do spend a lot of money on pay-per-views. I do that. But, that's for family to share. Like me, Papa Romeo came last week. We watched, Canelo break BJS's, Billy Joe Sanders' eye socket. Then, of course, I have you and, you and your lady and maybe a little two running around of UFCs every now and then. But it was good for me, though. It was good for me to watch a UFC event, like, by myself this past Saturday, which I really enjoyed. Like, I like my alone time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, what was it like before we'll just tease it real quick before we get too heavily into the fights. What was your experience like?
It was so good. Seemed like we got to it was the fan access on Saturday. So we got there at 1 and check-in wasn't at 3 at the hotel. So we went to the UFC fan access, which was right around the corner. There's some park nearby where I sent you that picture of that other stuff going on. And so we walked around, but right away they had a band and they were, we just got, my girl wanted a shirt, and the shirts were not anything to, I wouldn't have bought a shirt, but she wanted like I guess a souvenir kind of, to take home. So I was like, yeah, that's cool.
A souvenir?
Yeah. So, but we were sitting out there and I was like, man, looking around, enjoying a beer. And I was like, man, it's good to be at a live social event again with people walking around. Some people had masks, some didn't.
That's your right.
Yeah, of course. So it was good. My first thought was like, it's good to be at a social event again.
Right on, man. I saw the view from your hotel room.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know how much you spent. You had a great. What's funny is, here's the thing, but just real quick. They had a drone shot on the UFC production of the back of the Toyota Center. So they're flying. If I know my directions correctly, I believe it's flying from north to south. And I was like remembering the view from your hotel, and out of the view from your hotel, it's facing south, and to the left of the window is the Toyota Center, the southern entrance. And when I was, of course, it's nighttime, the lights are lit up, and I'm seeing the drone kind of fly in leading into the broadcast, and I'm like, oh shit, there's James Hotel, like right there on the right, to the right of the Toyota Center if you're going north to south. So it was really cool to see that. And, man, you're right there. Like, you didn't have to go far.
Yeah, not at all.
It was like, what, maybe like a 100-yard walk,
like,
if that?
Yeah. It was like literally like a 3-minute walk.
Yeah, y'all were very close. Yeah. So good on you for doing the logistics and getting that planned out. That lets me put another note in my brain. Logistics. Go to producer James. At least he'll have a good idea to, get the hunt properly planned out so the logistics are good. But let's pivot real quick. Yesterday was the national championship for the FCS featuring the Sam Houston State Bearcats versus the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. And if everybody remembers the movie from the 90s, Little Giants, for some odd reason, South Dakota State did not want to leave any stone unturned. And they decided to run the annexation of Puerto Rico, which producer James had teasing for you as we walked into the to the broadcast. But here's a little bit of what looked like yesterday. And whenever that play occurred, instantly popped in my brain, and you can kind of see the formation here as there's like a fumble-rooski moment. And, of course, being as disciplined as they are, Sam Houston State was able to snuff it out and, pretty much get the ball on the ground. But if you remember the movie Little Giants, it was a little bit different where they kind of hand the ball off and, the bigger lineman kind of starts running and lumbering down the field, and then there's a fumble near the goal line, and they kind of catch it and run it in, and everybody celebrates.
Seeing the clip, they were right onto it. They weren't fooled one bit.
They weren't fooled at all. It was one of those things where when you see something funny, everybody's alarms, especially if you're a well-coached team, all the alarms start like going off, like, hey, something's not right, because all the linemen were standing like straight up. Nobody got into their stance, was getting ready. And so it was like, something's fishy here. But shout out to South Dakota State. It was a highly competitive game. Ended up being a final of 23-21. And just as Sam Houston's done in the entire playoff of the FCS, like they've had to come from behind late in the fourth quarter to go win the game. And Sam Houston had the game pretty much well in hand throughout the entire three quarters early into the fourth quarters. There was a weather delay that lasted about a little over an hour, and they kind of came back to finish it up. And I was like, here we go. Okay, Sam Houston, don't give it away. Don't give it away. And, of course, South Dakota State had this, young, true freshman running back that just popped off like an 85-yard touchdown. I was like, okay, here we go. 21-14. What do they got left? And the quarterback for Sam Houston State was getting brutalized. There was actually a photo I took. Somebody got a field-level photo of their quarterback, and if you look at the grill of a face mask, it's usually the bars are all even. Well, the bar to the front right side of his face was kind of caved in. So he was hit so hard, one of those bars that's vertical was damaged and bent inward. So that would make sense why he was spitting up blood in the first quarter. So we can kind of leave it at that. But they were able to kind of pull from behind, drive down, scored with a touchdown with 16 seconds left, and then scared when the extra point was missed. I was like, 16 seconds left. Papa Romeo was here. We were watching the game. It was like, it just didn't feel right because I've seen teams kind of give away a lead, i.e. Aaron Rodgers to the Dallas Cowboys, when there's like a minute and 15 seconds left. For all those who haven't seen that photo circulating on social media, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. One Packer fan watching all the Cowboy fans celebrate and
not worried at all.
Not worried one damn bit. What's funny is he was more of like a doppelganger for Rodgers, having that kind of mustache and look to him, that Midwestern view. But shout out to Sam Houston. Great way for them to end their season in a very different COVID year where they played spring ball instead of, ball in the fall. No pun intended. I think this is going to be a big recruiting tool for them, not to get into the high school arena too much, but if y'all don't know, Sam Houston recruits heavily in the Austin area, and they do a lot of digging into the talent pool that's here locally, and I think that's just a representation of their coaching staff. And we kind of saw a lot of plays that occurred yesterday in that football game that led to other, big time coaching where offensive linemen were running downfield with receivers who were breaking tackles, sort of like a caravan into the end zone, which you really don't see a lot at this level with the FCS. So good on them. Just shout out to the offensive line coach for their center. There's a pass out to the flat in a little bubble screen. Offensive lineman's running downfield, not really knowing where this receiver's at, and creates a little bit of a lead block for the receiver into the end zone on one of their big scores. But lots of talent on that field yesterday. Very nice to see that. Not as clean of his game as I thought, but there was a big-time weather, which whatever storm you were probably encountering in Houston was blowing through Frisco, Texas, which is up near Dallas. And we have had a bunch of storms here in Texas lately. So, it's something that we're going to have to deal with. You really didn't really come to expect those kind of storms in Texas in May, but, I guess maybe we should have been expecting them, James.
I heard we got a lot more coming this week, too.
It just won't go away.
Nah.
It's like, dude, just why now? Like, I know May is one of the wettest months of the year, but, geez, like, could we, spread this out a little bit? We're going to condense it all into the last 2 weeks of the year, or the month, rather. I don't know. What are you going to do? Yep. It's going to be one of those, dreary end of Mays when we finally get into June, and then the humidity will come, and we'll all be, bitching about how the heat is just 6 feet, or, 3 degree temperature. I can't even talk right now.
I think by now we should have already just learned with everything with the pandemic and all of the stuff going on to just roll with the punches.
Just a winter snowstorm in the middle of February, just stuff like that, right? Just get used to the oddities of Texas weather.
Yeah.
Any of our new viewers, if y'all are out there, hit us up in the chat. Producer James has that up. He'll be able to respond to you. If y'all want to ask a question, drop it into the comments below. Also, we might start doing giveaways for people who put comments down below. And if y'all put comments during the show live, maybe we'll call you out, shout you out, give you a prize. You just never know. So leave your comments down below. We definitely want to get more engagement. It's really good for the show, helps us out a bunch. And tell your friends about us if you like what you're hearing. Just a daily sports show with the Texas flair. What we're trying to do. Little tease. We're gonna have a food challenge this Sunday or this Thursday. It will be Friday, but I'm picking it up Thursday, and we're actually gonna shoot a promo for that after today's live show, and the promo will probably be up, I don't know, before producer James goes home.
Okay.
So we'll kind of just tease that, leave that there real quick. Dallas Cowboys. Let's pivot, moving on to the NFL. I was looking at a list of strength of schedules for the NFL. And I would have thought, especially because they won the Super Bowl, Tampa Bay would be at the top of this list, but they're not. They're actually fourth. They have the fourth easiest schedule in the NFL. With all the firepower, with them returning Tom Brady, all their coaches, all their players, probably minus a couple offensive linemen. But the core of their team is back. Fourth most difficult schedule in the NFL. James, go ahead, and then we'll get into my point.
How is strength?
It's basically your opponents. Well, let me let you finish your question.
Is it based on last year's performance?
It's based on what your schedule is this year and their record of your opponent's record from last year.
Okay.
So I brought that point up because the first team that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will face in this upcoming 21 season is the Dallas Cowboys. Well, it just so happens to be that the Dallas Cowboys have an easier schedule than Tampa Bay. The Dallas Cowboys have the second easiest schedule in the NFL with a healthy Dak Prescott returning, Mike McCarthy saying that he's expecting Dak Prescott to take heavy load and heavy responsibility of this offense.
Well, he better after that contract they gave him, right?
And, so last week you brought up the Forbes list, right, with McGregor?
Yeah.
Do you know who was fourth on that list?
Yeah, it was Dak, wasn't it?
It was Dak Prescott with $107+ million. So Dak Prescott was the second highest paid NFL athlete overall on that Forbes list for last year's earnings, I believe. And so I'm thinking to myself, Bucky Brooks is calling for Dak Prescott to have an MVP season. But Bucky Brooks is a analyst on NFL Network. The Dallas Cowboys have the second easiest schedule in the NFL. Probably their biggest challenge will be Tampa Bay in the first week of the NFL season on a Thursday, prime time, to kick off the season. And I have to think to myself, there's only one more team who has an easier schedule than them, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, I think Philadelphia, with a new coach, not anything settled at quarterback quite yet, but I think we really should give Hurts the benefit of the doubt. But Philadelphia didn't have the firepower the Dallas Cowboys had. And we have a new defense coordinator in Dan Quinn for Dallas. He's going to bring in his Seattle Seahawks style defense back when they were the Legion of Boom. He has a plethora of new rookie defenders led by Micah Parsons, arguably probably the best linebacker, if not the best defender in the entire NFL draft. Who I think personally, there's only 2 Hall of Famers in this 21 draft. One of them being Kyle Pitts, who went to Atlanta, and the other being Micah Parsons, who's going to be the linchpin for the Dallas Cowboys on defense. We got some holes to probably fill at the other corner position opposite of Travion Diggs. But I think Jabril Cox, who was picked late, he used to play at North Dakota State, won a national championship, then went to LSU, stole him in the later rounds. I think the defenders and the secondary, I think they're going to be able to be pieced in. And I say that to say this. When Dan Quinn was drafting the Legion of Boom, he was getting defenders in the late rounds. Richard Sherman, late round. Cliff Averill, late round. Those types of players, Cam Chancellor, late round. Those types of players he can develop and put them into positions for Dallas to have an mediocre, not bad, not poor, but mediocre defense, coupled with the new high-flying Dallas Cowboy offense. They should easily win the division. They should easily go into the playoffs. But I hope y'all heard the key word. What I said there was should.
Yeah.
So you have to ask yourself the question, has the NFL done everything in their power, which it appears to be so, has the NFL done everything in their power to create a yellow brick road for the Dallas Cowboys to make a run at a Super Bowl this year after Dak Prescott had such a catastrophic injury against the Giants, where you had bros in the stands boo-hooing, boo-hoo-hoo, Dak Prescott, boo-hoo-hoo, boo-hooing while their girlfriends or wives are sitting right next to them trying to console them, and they're boo-hoo, Dak Prescott.
When he got hurt?
When he got hurt. You have these guys, I don't even want to call them men, these guys with tears in their eyes while they're carting Dak Prescott off, holding up signs and boo-hooing to their girlfriends because Dak Prescott got hurt. And my question is, were you boo-hooing because Dak got hurt, or were you boo-hooing because you know Dallas was going to be more shittier than they've ever been?
You remind me of Gabriel from Pops and Shots.
Why?
He was boo-hooing.
He was boo-hooing? See, I don't boo-hoo. I just call out the boo-hooers. I just want all of y'all to know, hey, Producer Drew, if you out there, you hear me, I don't need you to see you boo-hooing either. I'm just saying, I'm going to put it out there for all you Dallas Cowboy fanatics, you DC4L zombies. If Dallas does not make the playoffs, I don't want to hear a damn word about anything from any of y'all until next season, until next March of 2022. Hell, I don't want to hear anything from y'all until the draft, because you don't deserve to say anything. You have the second easiest schedule in the NFL. You have CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, Ezekiel Elliott, who's training his ass off right now. You have a healthy offensive line going into the season, and you have a fourth highest paid athlete at quarterback. You ain't got, and the NFL is giving you the yellow brick road.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear nothing.
Who's the company that Dak is surrounded by when it comes to contract terms? Like Patrick, I know Patrick Mahomes is like ahead of him, right? Or is his higher than Patrick Mahomes?
No, Patrick Mahomes is higher than him.
Then it's Dak.
It's got to be Dak, Deshaun Watson. But if Aaron gets his money from Green Bay, Aaron will be the highest paid. So I think Dak is like second or third, because it's Patrick, Dak, and then Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. Point I was trying to make was he's surrounded by, a Super Bowl champion in Patrick Mahomes, who is like
contractually, you're talking about at contractually.
Yeah, value of contract.
Right.
So I feel like, if you're in that company, you need to be playing. What am I trying to say? You need to have your play, meaning you need to perform. Yeah, you need to perform up to par with your contract. You know what I mean?
But that's not why people get paid. That's not why people get their contracts. People get their contracts because they time it correctly, they play hardball, and they know there's nothing. There's no other way out for the team.
Yeah.
Like Jerry should have signed Dak 3 years ago to avoid the past 3 years and all of its nonsense. He didn't do it. But by God, when Dak got hurt and all the boo, and all in the stands, I was like, as soon as they carted Dak off the field and his face was red, his eyes, because he was crying. He was obviously in his fucking leg broke in half and his ankle was dislocated.
You think
at the
that's
same
why he
time.
was crying?
Man, yes.
Here we go. Oh, James, you ever had a broken bone?
Yes.
No, I haven't. But you know what?
No, I wasn't going to call you out that way, but let me finish my point. My point was, as soon as Dak was being carted off and he's going into the tunnel, I was like, Jerry's going to sign him. When Stephen Jones's wife is hugging him in mortification because of this injury, of how graphic it was, his leg was literally like hanging off like, a towel on a towel rack. It was literally just hanging like that. And I was like, well, everybody better get used to Dak Prescott being their quarterback for the next 4 or 5 years.
Oh, so you were like certain he was going to get signed.
As soon as he was carted off, I started thinking in my brain, I'm like, okay, the shock of the injury is over. I started like thinking like a general manager. I'm like, look at the fans. These people were mortified. They were in shock. They just saw their golden boy quarterback and Dak Prescott on a run while he's escaping the pocket out in the flat, trying to go downfield to score a touchdown to beat the shitty ass Giants. And he plants his leg with another human on his back, and his ankle gives out. Then his bone hits the ground, and it snaps in half. And Jerry's looking at all of this, and he's like, cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. Jersey sales. People coming back next year to see Dak Prescott in a sold-out AT&T Stadium.
You think he had that
Hell,
Post
they just
Malone?
put 73,000 people 2 weeks ago with the Canelo fight.
You think he had that Post Malone song in his head that whole time?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, man. And Post Malone is a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. He just ain't no Bud Light, or he just ain't no Miller Lite fan. I'm sure Jerry had a little conversation about that. Getting back to Dallas Cowboy products. But yeah, it's not a coincidence that Post Malone had a little song that would go in. He's delivering the schedule, and, they call him the Postman, and he doesn't want to be Post Malone anymore, or Posty or whatever.
Yeah, Posty.
He gets to hang out with Jerry Jones. He gets to hang out with Dak Prescott, Zeke Elliott.
I sense a little saltiness there.
No, that's not it.
Oh, okay.
What it is that Jerry Jones will sell everybody the bill of goods. He'll sell it. It's time to pay the check.
Yeah.
It's time for Dallas to be in contention for a Super Bowl.
I totally agree. With them not knowing, of course, people were wondering, are they gonna sign Dak? Are they gonna, what are they gonna do? Because he was literally playing for, a big contract and all of that stuff, and then he goes and gets hurt. That's all behind us. He signed the contract. It's time to go out there and play, and not only play but win. Ooh. And I'm not even a Cowboys fan, but I know what time it is. You know what I mean?
What time is it, James?
It's time to win.
It's time to win, baby.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all heard. Listen, man, I ain't never seen producer James get excited about winning. But it's true though. I think James is trying to cross over a little bit because old AR-12,
no.
AR-12's
Hell no.
What if, hypothetically, what if Jerry pulls the steal of the century, the steal of the 2000s, and he manages to send Dak Prescott to Green Bay and pull AR-12 down to Dallas? Big D. With those receivers, he doesn't know what it's like to have a defense anyways. Rodgers doesn't.
Yeah, true.
He's like, but I ain't never had Amari Cooper. I ain't never had a first-round receiver. I ain't never had a top 15 receiver in CeeDee Lamb. I never had a receiver who could take off the top of a defense and Michael Gallup out of Ohio State. I've never had a number 4 overall running back in Ezekiel Elliott. And I damn sure ain't had an offensive line who had all pro positions at more than one spot outside of Bakhtiari.
Hey, it's Packers forever.
Oh.
But I will be in Dallas watching Aaron Rodgers sling that ball. I'll tell you that much.
You damn right. You damn right. Jerry, listen, man, if you need a general manager, I'm just saying. I mean, we can work out a deal. Just give me 1% ownership and I'll work for free. I'll live there. I'll be there before you. I'm just saying. Steven, stop. I'm just saying.
Deliver that. Be the postman. Be there before Post Malone.
I'll be unlocking the door for postman. Hey, man, let's go. Jerry wants to talk to you. Come in.
Next season, if somebody gets hurt, you'll be there consoling. What's his name? The son, Stephen Jones.
Boo! Boo! Dak Prescott got hurt. Boo! Going on crocodile tears. All right, y'all. Let's enough of the nonsense. But do you remember that? Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
That image?
Oh yeah.
Where the guy's like literally hands in face, and his girlfriend's right there. I'm like, I've been like.
First and foremost, are you a man?
Like, what's going on here? I want to say so many things. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm like, you want to go get a drink? You let him have his moment here.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll bring it back.
Leave him alone, mama. He'll be all right.
All right. Let's get into a break. We'll see, what time is it? 31 minutes after the hour. When we come back, we're going to talk a little UFC 262, recap that. Producer James was live in the building.
What's that?
Was Dana White talking shit about Oscar there live when you were there?
Not live, nah.
Okay. But I know he was, though.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Also Triller.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it. We back. Welcome back, everybody. It is the Paul Rodriguez Show coming out of Studio 44. UFC's 262 live in Houston this past Saturday. Producer James and his lady were in attendance in the building watching Dana White glad hand. Is he a big guy?
Dana White? Mm-hmm. I couldn't really get like a proper
couldn't size him up too well.
I couldn't size him up
pretty far.
Cause I mean, I didn't want to say just because of the
y'all weren't high, but y'all weren't like low either.
Nah,
he was like right by the cage.
I'll be honest, I was kind of like I was like, dude, this is what this like, like I caught myself sometimes looking at the big screen on top, but I had to check myself because I'm like, dude, we paid a good price for those seats. Like, I'll be goddamn if I'm gonna be looking up at a screen, which is what I could have been doing at at home
TV.
on the TV.
Right.
But it reminds me of when I was asking you about standing room over there at the Dallas Stadium.
It's way further away.
Yeah.
It's far.
But in regards to as far as like just being there and then looking at a screen, but knowing that you're there at the event, and so I did catch myself at times looking up at that screen. But I tried to watch it for the most part. And it's a different experience from watching it at home because you hear Rogan. And right off the back, I got in there. I was like, where's Rogan at? And I spotted him, John Anik, and Daniel Cormier. And there was a handful of celebrities on hand or other fighters like Derek Lewis, Bill Goldberg was in attendance. I saw that. Chuck Liddell was in attendance. So yeah, it was pretty cool just knowing that they're in the same freaking room as you. You know, it was pretty cool.
I bet there were like a lot of other people too. I think there was a couple other fighters that they kind of put the camera on a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was a great card. It was I thought it was going to be a little more like dull, to be honest with you. But when Jacare got his arm broke, I was like, okay, it kind of set the tone for the whole card. And I remember Jacare when he was just like murking folks. Yeah. Like he was the killer. Man. He was the guy nobody wanted to fight. This historically like just monster of a human being who would literally knock you out if you stood up and like choked you out if you went to the ground. And yeah, man, whenever I saw that younger fighter, what was his name?
Let me see. I'm not sure the one.
It was his opponent.
Yeah.
It wasn't on the main card. It was right before the main card.
It was the prelim main event on the prelims. Yeah.
Right. It was the main event on the prelim, but it was another young
Andrew Muniz. Yeah.
Yeah. Another young Brazilian.
I didn't think much of him, but they were talking about, and he's pretty humble, and they were talking about how he has pretty good grappling, and
he said he was a better grappler than Jacare.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah,
and he proved it.
Yeah, he did. I wasn't worried about it, of course, because I was like, I think I was biased. I let my bias take over because I really like Jacare. Like you have been following him since Strike Force, and I don't know if he did some time in Bellator, but I definitely think that Jacare might need to consider hanging him up because he's just been on a decline for a while.
So when you see the armbar get put on, like, did y'all know it broke, or did y'all just think it was TK? Or it was a TK, or a submission?
Okay, so I wasn't looking up at the, I was like, oh, that's just, he tapped him, and I saw, the position that he was in, and I can recognize when it's sunken in, and unless sometimes they roll over and they get out, shake them off or whatever, but I was like, yeah, I was done. But plus, I knew the way that guy was fighting him and what he was doing to him, and I was like, yeah, this guy's, he's pretty good,
right?
And so watching the replay, they showed it like 3 or 4 times.
But that's one thing that, like, y'all didn't know it was broke until Rogan said it.
Well, once I saw the replay, I was like,
saw it give.
Yeah, they kept showing the replay, and you see that point, and it was like, everyone was like,
on TV. I don't know what they did to, like, I think they realized how well the audio sounded when there was no fans in the arena. And I think they're trying to, like, recapture that with fans in the arena. So I'm sure they, like, strategically put up microphones to where you can hear the coaches with the crowd, and you can also hear what's going on, like, inside the octagon. And let me just put it like this. Whenever that armbar was hooked in and you're watching it, and all you hear is just, like, it was like, I was like, oh. And like, as a human, you know what a broken bone sounds like. And you're like, oh, that's what that was.
Yeah.
And then Joe DC had to take his headphones off. He was like, I can't hear it again. I can't. And he did. Joe was like, DC took his headphones off. And they were like, look, it's going to break. And then pop, they like air it again. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It was significant. I was like, but Jacare's like, oh yeah, it just broke. I'm like, dude, your arm is literally snapped in half. Like, it's no big deal to you. Like, it's not.
Yeah, he walked out. It was just like hanging.
Yeah.
He was just like kind of
just like Dak Prescott's ankle and lower leg. Let's get into the main event. Let's get to Ferguson and Beneil Dariush. A lot of respect for Dariush after the victory. Tony, I think as Jacare may need to reconsider, or may consider rather, time to, hang him up. I think Tony needs to take a long, deep look in the mirror and assess his future, because it looks like Charles Oliveira put the prescription on the mat to like how to beat him. Is like, put him on the ground, tie him up for as many rounds as you need to, and just beat him on points. And that's what everybody seems to be doing right now for Tony. And whenever that ankle lock was hooked in, and he was like screaming in agony.
Yeah, like 3 times.
He was just you really didn't hear too much but you saw his mouth just and his features just screaming in agony, trying to like kick the hands off. And I wonder why Dariush let go. It was like, did he let go because they were going to stop the fight for like as a submission? But Tony went back into the round, and after they came back out the second or third time, Dariush was like, all right, I got to finish it because they're not going to stop it. And he couldn't walk. Yeah. Like, he could only stand on his leg. His left knee was totally destroyed.
Yeah. It's one of those things, man. Tony Ferguson, one of my favorites, but I'm giving room to say that I might be wrong, because a 3-fight skid, especially after you had such long of a winning streak. Mm-hmm. You just gotta wonder, like, what's going on here, And of course, this was a fight where he was supposed to be reinventing himself,
right?
Making a lot of changes and stuff. So yeah, man. You gotta wonder, what's going on, man.
I listen to Chael Sonnen a lot. I want to get more of an expert's. It's a very deep dive with Chael on his show on YouTube, and he was bringing up the fact that these fighters, once they're figured out, once the awkward angles are figured out, once the surprise is figured out, they have to go lean back on their fundamentals. And that's pretty much what they said is the difference between Ferguson and Oliveira when they had their fight. Was whenever you're taken into deep waters, Ferguson doesn't have any fundamentals that he's an expert on. He was just used to being real wily. Mm-hmm. And now, when he is taken in deep waters, he doesn't know how to get out of them because his fundamentals are weak. And that's something that Chael kind of identified, in contrast to Charles Oliveira. Whenever he was hurt, and we'll get there in a second, he was able to rebound. But, just sticking to Tony and Dariush right now, you really saw Dariush was very methodical. He was like, this is the game plan. We're going to put him on the ground. We're not going to strike too much with him. We can probably take his punch, but we're going to put him on the ground and just grind it out for 3 rounds, which he did. And I think if he was to do it any other way and let Ferguson get on his feet to make a point, the puncher's chance was going to be a deciding factor. And I think Dariush didn't want to let that happen.
Yeah, for sure.
He wanted a victory. He wanted to go home. He wanted to be with his wife. He wanted to be with his family. And, all the props to him. And now we have to consider him for a title at 55.
For sure. Sure.
Because of the way he handled himself with Ferguson. And the only person to beat Ferguson in the past year was Charles as a champion. And so, into the main event.
I don't know when Justin Gaethje, because that might have been in 2020 also, when he fought Justin Gaethje.
Yeah. Well, they trained together apparently when Gaethje was going to fight Ferguson.
Yeah, so Gaethje fought Ferguson and beat him for I think it was the interim lightweight.
It was the interim title.
Yeah, I think that was in 2020.
So it was Gaethje, Oliveira, and now Dariush for the losses for Ferguson.
So little backstory. Apparently, Dariush, like him and Gaethje became really close. He said he used to. Gaethje was there and would like run errands for his wife with groceries and stuff like that. So they built up a bond. Did you see Dariush called out Elon Musk after the fight?
Hey, man, the man wants his vehicle.
Yeah.
If he paid for it.
Elon tweeted. He said it's on the way.
No, we didn't. He did?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He was like, he didn't say it's on the way, but he was like, won't take long, buddy, or something like that.
All right. So. I didn't. Elon, if you're watching, let's take a break from Twitter for a little while. Let's just hold. All right, everybody, just hold. Just hold. Elon, I mean, I get it. Let's just take a break. I know you're up the street in Austin. I know. I get it. Respect, mad respect. I'm gonna do my damnedest to buy one of his trucks when they come out. I love that truck, that Cybertruck. I love it. But let's take it easy on the crypto tweets. All right, let's just we don't need to go that far. I appreciate him though, like being self-aware, but hold. Everybody just hold.
Is he fucking your game up what?
This is no financial advice, but everybody just hold on. Let's just carry on. It'll be all right.
Sounds like he's fucking your game up.
No. See, I was smart and I moved to Doge. See, but for everybody else, just hold on. It'll be all right. It's not gonna be bad forever. I promise. But yeah. Charles Oliveira, Michael Chandler, Iron Michael Chandler. You had Chandler, I had Oliveira.
I did, yes.
We both took L's for Ferguson. What were your thoughts on that fight? Because if Chandler doesn't, how do I say this? If Herb Dean was the official, Michael Chandler would be the champion right now.
You think so?
Yes, because Herb Dean will stop it, especially if, and this is my opinion, especially if there's a champion that the UFC wants over another champion, or a fighter over another fighter. And I think Dana White, with his Dana White privilege, I think that's such a funny pun, because he brought in Chandler, one fight. Chandler was a champion at Bellator, comes in, and, Chandler's All-American, waving the red, white, and blue, and shout out and props to him and all that. Love it. And Chandler's not, but Chandler ain't a spring chicken. And I think Dana knows that. He's like, I need to get this champion in here to represent for a couple of years before a killer comes and takes it. Because Chandler's 35. And I believe if Herb Dean is in that octagon with those two in there, Michael Chandler's the champion, because he had Oliveira damaged. He was hurt. But what did Oliveira do? He went back. He went to his fundamentals, covered up. He was taking damage, without a doubt.
Yeah.
He was clipped. And he managed to get through the round. And then going into the second round, what did he do? Chin tucked, hands up, left hook, catches Chandler, and then finishes it.
Yeah.
Especially on the ground.
Yeah. I didn't expect the fight at all to end. If it was going to go for Oliveira, I was expecting a submission. Yeah. But, I mean, I told you, I said if, Oliveira, obviously he's earned my respect because I kind of mentioned him being almost a gatekeeper. So I'm taking my words back. He's obviously championship material. And not just saying that because he won the fight. I feel like he proved it. I mean, he finished Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
And, so props to him. It's good seeing. He's been in the UFC, I think, for 10 years. And
11.
11?
Yeah.
And so, very, very well deserved.
But he's only 31. That's the thing, is he's such a young fighter right now that his reign, he's on a 9-win streak.
Yeah.
Khabib had 12. I don't see Dariush beating Oliveira.
Yeah. Now, me neither. I don't.
Now Oliveira. Now what has to happen? Poirier Oliveira. If Poirier beats McGregor.
But here's somebody tweeting about creeping and tweeting, oh, congrats to Oliveira, the number 11th lightweight champion in history.
Who's gonna be number 12?
Who's gonna be number 12? Proper 12.
Coincidence?
Number 12 has a nice ring to it all of a sudden.
I think not. Well, I mean, he did sell a large majority stake in his proper 12.
Yeah.
We're not here to take part. We're here to take over.
Horrible.
It's a good saying, though. It was a horrible impression, but it's a damn good saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Charles Oliveira. And then The reports are that he still lives in the favelas of Brazil. I mean, you saw some of the pictures kind of start to get leaked out of, how he supports his community buying medicine, and you got to give it up, man. That man's a hero in his country for doing that. Medicine, children, and buying medicine for children, buying toys for children, buying food for the people there who have nothing.
Yeah,
And,
can't hate on him at all. I was going for Chandler, but I mean, all the
right.
He deserves it. Can't hate on him one bit.
The only thing is he needs to like, what's up with the blonde hair?
I agree.
It was his whole camp.
Oh really?
Yeah. What the hell's up with that? You know who else is doing that?
Who?
Chavez Jr.
God.
What the hell's up with these Central and South Americans with the blonde hair? Somebody tell me.
Oh,
because I don't get it.
The old Slim Shady or what?
I don't know, man. But you know who was doing that? Like there was a lot of in 2000s, in the year 2000 in high school, there was a lot of people, a lot of brown folk with the blonde hair, and I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Well, that was the breakout of Slim Shady.
But they were doing it because of Marshall Mathers?
I don't know. I mean, I just know that around that time, that's when he did the Video Music Awards, and he had a whole freaking line of Slim Shadys outside with blonde hair and white wife beaters.
You think John Cena was biting off of that style whenever he did his WrestleMania entrance? When all the John Cenas were lined up?
Oh, I mean,
probably.
Yeah,
that's what it looked like. Looked like a homage to the VMAs.
Yeah, might have been. I forgot about that. I know
you're
that big of a wrestling fan, man.
I just watch the highlights. I'm all over YouTube, man. I dabble.
Literally the highlights.
Hey, man, if we're gonna be doing a sports show, we gotta make sure we cover sports entertainment too. I'm just saying,
the way around, right?
That moves the needle.
Yeah.
If anything moves the needle, that'll do it right there. Next week, UFC Fight Night Vegas, back to the Apex. Apparently, in the post-fight interview for Dana White, he was he's dropping some shit talking.
Strong words, huh?
Talking about Oscar De La Hoya's, bunch of nonsense.
Who had worse to say about Triller, us or Dan White?
That's a good question. That's a damn. You know what we should do? Well, we know what you should do.
Say no more.
Let me make this real clear. You know what you should do? What you should do is we need to piece that clip together. It should be Dana White. It should be Dana White and the Paul Rodriguez show versus Triller, and see who got the best of Triller. I'm just saying, because Dana White's like, these guys are calling me every day.
Well,
they want me to take their calls.
We'll let the listeners vote.
Let the listeners vote. Put a poll up. Let them go have their say.
Who went in worse, Dana White or Paul Rodriguez?
Dude, I'm just saying, Dana White can't stand those dudes. He's like, what do you want with our business? What do you want with it? Nothing. Yeah. They want to steal the thunder for the clout.
Yeah, true.
Just saying. Yeah. Talking mad shit about De La Hoya. Dana White said De La Hoya was saying that you go to his promotion, you'll make more money than you've ever made in the UFC. And what did he do? He's like, Chuck Liddell was in the audience. Go ask Chuck how much money he made. Facts, bro.
Yeah.
Dana White don't give a shit.
Are you familiar at all with how UFC collects
the Delgado girls? No, I don't know about those dang Delgado girls.
Emilio.
Whatever the hell them damn girls' name. I don't care.
Hey, with the way they run the way bars and places like Pluckers or Chili's showing the UFC fights.
I should, but I don't know.
We used to always go and watch fights over there at Pluckers because it was like $15, $20 cover charge, which it kind of beats staying at home paying $60. And then you get to enjoy some wings or whatever. But all of a sudden they stopped. And I've heard stories, different places or here around town of, there's this one place here in town. Apparently they got sued because somebody was
pirating.
Somebody reported them, that they weren't doing it appropriately. And I was like, well, UFC wants their money. Anyways, what I see is they want it done a certain way. Like you can't just slap UFC on your establishment for a Saturday night because they're having a pay-per-view, charge $15 and make a buttload of money on the UFC's name. It's what I was taking from it, but I don't know. I was just wondering because I noticed a lot of places don't really show the UFC fights that much.
Well, what I do know is that shout out to Chris. Chris works up north at Revelry, and the guy who owns Revelry has three 3 bars and grills. And so he has a representative with his cable company, and there's like a certain rate, like depending on how many people view it in your establishment depends on like the rate you're going to get. And so, you know, it's just like any negotiation. I'm pretty sure that representative from the satellite or cable company is going to say, this is how many people your establishment will hold. This is how many people we expect to view it. We're going to charge you this amount of money. And, you know, I think that's kind of the route that it takes. I could be wrong, but you know, if you're not doing it correctly, you're probably going to face a hell of a fine. Yeah. And if apparently, I don't know if this is true, but UFC caught one of the streamers, like the illegal streamers, and like had him like locked up. They basically backtracked his IP address. Dude was in his mom's basement. They like went in, raided it, pulled him out, locked him up. So apparently they can find you. Ricky. If they want you. They'll get you. Fucking rook. Yeah, man. So there's so much money on the line. It's such a big business.
Oh yeah.
Think about what the UFC was in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
You had senators from Arizona, RIP, who were basically calling for its abolition, for it to be abolished. And today you have states and governors probably negotiating deals to be the first state to have that event live before anybody else. That's what Dana said last night. He was like, I was in constant contact with your governor. We were supposed to have, Texas was supposed to be the first venue, our first state to have a live event, and it didn't work out. We went to Florida.
Hot Wheels bitched out.
We're back here. Who was?
Hot Wheels.
What do you mean?
Greg Abbott.
Hot Wheels. Bro, you gonna go to hell for that, bro. You gonna go to hell. Better watch your mouth, son. Governor Abbott, the statements and actions of producer James do not reflect the views of his employer or his constituents. Bro. That wasn't even his fault, man.
So yeah, what I was saying, you know, so you're like taking it back to 2003, and then fast forward to also to where we have the number one athlete that's made the most in Conor McGregor.
How is this like the first time he's the number one overall?
I think so. MMA.
Oh, you gonna slurp that up though, huh? You're just gonna keep it going?
I mean, an MMA. No. But this is what I was gonna say. I'm not. I mean, it's not slurping him up. So this is what I was gonna say. Like you said, Dak was number 4 on the list, right? Yeah. So. How do you like? I mean, just what are your thoughts on like Conor McGregor being number 1? So he goes in there and he performs, does his craft. Maybe I don't know, is 3 times too much to say for Conor? I feel like it's more like twice a year. You know, so go and do that as opposed to Dak when he's in there for 17 straight weeks, no more because they don't make the playoffs.
That's true.
You know, performing his craft.
Maybe this year though.
You know,
maybe.
So, I mean, what's like, do you see any like, I mean, I don't know.
Are you talking about like, how would you calculate it on their, are you talking about only, see, because when I hear a professional athlete, talk about their income, I'm not just taking into consideration the time they perform. I'm taking into consideration the time that they prepare and perform. So we're talking about nutrition. We're talking about rehabilitation. We're talking about training. We're talking about treatment. There's so many more things going on than just what you see in front of everybody to perform.
100%. You're right.
And the reason I bring that up is because you can be a Conor McGregor, and you're going to spend, and he's actually said this in interviews, and he used LeBron as a litmus, and he goes, before I was making any money, I would blow money shopping, but whenever I got around these elite athletes, I heard that LeBron spends $1 million a year on his body, and so it clicked in McGregor's brain to say, oh, I'm a professional athlete. I need to reinvest the money I make into my body so I can perform and make more money. And that's kind of something I think about, especially with these like high elite end athletes who are being highly compensated, is like, not only does McGregor need to, go through the nutrition, go through the training, go through, the rehabilitation, but at the same time, like, he needs to watch film on his opponent. He needs to judge his opponent, just like with football. You need to go out to practice. You need to train. You need to have the right nutrition. You need to rehabilitate yourself if need be. And you also got to watch the film. And especially at the quarterback position, which is the most elite position in the NFL, and one of only 32 men who are going to be in that position. Very rarefied air. But yeah, like, I think getting back to the point is like, if you take into consideration the performance time, like, Conor McGregor is blowing everybody out of the water because he's only competing for, if he's not competing for a world title, he's only fighting 15 minutes a night for one night. I mean, but that doesn't take away. I mean, we talk about the now, right? Well, what about when he was in Ireland living on welfare, trying to create a name for himself in the sport? Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about Dak Prescott when he was in high school and nobody was recruiting him because they probably didn't want a black quarterback at their college or at their university, potentially. Who was going to go recruit a quarterback out of Louisiana that LSU didn't want? Probably nobody. Well, luckily he got an offer from Mississippi State to go ball out. Took them they at one time were the number one team in the nation. Yeah. Then gets drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, and here we go. Yeah. Dak Prescott doesn't understand how lucky he is to have been drafted by the Dallas Cowboys and for Tony Romo to have sustained the injury when he did it, his rookie year. Because now look at the quarterbacks who were stable at the position for over 10 years. Troy Aikman, where's he at? Fox Booth, making millions of dollars being an analyst. Tony Romo, CBS, making tens of millions of dollars being an analyst. When Dak Prescott's done, he's going to be probably Monday Night Football. Good-looking dude, tall guy, very likable, natural-born leader, very instinctive to be, a team player. He's going to make so much more money off the field than on the field. Is where I'm going with this.
Are you saying the Dallas Cowboys produce top-tier commentary guys?
No, I believe that the Dallas Cowboys, due to their popularity, produce very likable, easy listening quarterbacks that are highly valuable to the TV networks. That last part is very key. They're very attractive to TV networks.
Who would you rather listen to, Tony Romo or Troy Aikman?
Troy Aikman.
Oh God,
it's easy. It's way. Listen, man, I don't need Tony Romo dissecting 6 different positions before the snap has even occurred. I get it, Tony. I can see the same damn thing, but I don't need your high-pitched, whiny voice in my ear while you're trying to do it. A lot of times, for people who don't know, like, if it's just me by myself, I'll watch it in mute because I just can't stand these jokers on what they're talking about. Half the time, they don't even know, like, what the hell is going on. The guys who are good, who's good? Charles Davis is good. I like Troy. He's not great, but I like Troy. And who else is pretty good?
You don't like Al Michaels?
No. I don't like Chris Collinsworth either. Who else?
I wouldn't expect you to say Chris Collinsworth.
Thank God Drew Brees is going to replace him. And see, I don't know how well Drew Brees is going to do.
So Chris Collinsworth is out of here?
Thank God. I hope so. I hope he's gone and not Al Michaels. That's what I hope.
Now here's a guy, Chris Collinsworth. Here's a guy.
Oh my God.
Who has terrorized airwaves for the past how many years?
He has violated airwaves. Much less than
it's like he latches his lips onto a certain guy, like,
a player.
A player when the game starts, and it's just.
I think you want to know why I think that happens? Because he didn't do enough homework. I really didn't think he prepared well enough to, like, adequately have a very digestible dive into a certain player or have enough information available to him to, like, give the viewer inadequate piece of information, personally. That's just me, though. All right, guys, we'll stop talking about all this weirdness going on. Let's go ahead and get into a break. It's 8:07 or 8:08. I can't remember. When we come back, we'll wrap this bad boy up with a bow and a ribbon and see what happens. Are we back? Welcome back, everybody. It is the final countdown for the show. Been a good day today. It's been a long one, man. Actually got to sleep in a little bit later. Didn't go into work as early as usual, but I feel a little bit better today. I may probably take that up a little bit more. Maybe should go to bed earlier, but who cares? Staying up late watching stuff.
I seen you growing fancy to Chael Sonnen.
Chael, it's like I do like Chael when he gives like good advice, but his picks are just trash. Like his UFC picks for the fights, garbage, bro. Like there's a Chael curse, a Sonnen curse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I don't know. He there's insight that I really can't get from, the stooge Jabron Helwani. I think that's what I'm gonna start calling him, Helwani. And sometimes the Little Mermaid tries to like bait people in, and I've been watching a lot of Nick Diaz's interviews with the Little Mermaid, and yeah, dude, like it's so hilarious. Like Nick he just kind of.
Did you see when he told him people where I'm from, people like that get slapped? He
People
like looks into the camera.
Yeah. He's like I like also when Nate was like, wasn't that interesting?
Yeah.
I'm starting to grow fonder of the Diaz brothers, just because they just don't care, and I really like that about people. When you're when you're honest with who you are, like I appreciate that a bunch.
Yeah, for sure. Quick update on the shirts. I got an email. They are modifying the shirts, the Nick Diaz shirts.
Okay.
Nate Diaz shirts that me and my girl ordered. So they are modifying, or they have been modified. They've been shipped, dude. Sorry.
And these were the shirts that were going to be for 262, but you said they altered them to reflect 263.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what the email said. But
when did you get the email?
Today. Dude, it said that they should have been shipped May 12th. Dude, I'm going to go and say represent LTD, Pissport, customer service. Not that I've tried to contact them, but most companies, when you order anything, I guess I'm just spoiled by Amazon. You get an immediate confirmation number along with a tracking number.
Got that Bezos.
None of that, dude. I'm just like, where's my package? Just waiting.
You'll get it when you get it.
I better get it before UFC 263.
You got a month. You got 3 weeks.
Hey, that's all I'm saying. I better get it before then, because if not,
what are you gonna do?
Exactly. I'm not gonna do nothing. I'm not gonna order from them again.
Well, that's the smart play. The smart play is not to order from them again. But God, I don't even want to know how much you paid for those shirts. Was it more than $40?
Then why are you asking? No.
Was it more? It was less than 40.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then you're good.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
oh man, I ain't paying. Look, I don't like paying $20 for a T-shirt. I'm not gonna pay more than $40 for a T-shirt.
Would you pay $400 for a ticket?
Who said that?
You did.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
Not on camera.
Yes. The hell you didn't.
Why you throwing me out there, Paul?
Just trying to be real with it.
Damn. Okay.
I said I buy the pay-per-views. I buy too many.
See how the show runs now.
Hey man, just gotta be honest with the people.
All right.
Like, all my faults. Yeah. We got to remember to cut that promo for the challenge this week. Yeah, so there's gonna be a challenge.
Cut some other stuff out too.
What you need to do is cut that dang who went in on Triller Worse, Dana White or Paul Rodriguez show.
All right.
You put some jabs in there too.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
I remember. I was talking mad shit.
Got you, baby. I need a little raise though.
These Delgado girls, you drinking it? Only the finest.
See, we're evolving. We evolved today.
The finest libations. No man, but did y'all wrap up Selena?
Yes, we did.
So
dude.
is it another cliffhanger, or is there gonna be? Is it over?
2 seasons. That's it.
Oh, so she got shot. That's what happened.
I mean, I didn't want to put spoilers out there.
Oh, it's only been 35 years. Just saying, not 35, but
dude,
R.I.P.
Final thoughts, dude. Christian Chiratos, which is the girl that plays Selena.
She's gorgeous.
Amazing job,
she's
dude.
Gorgeous.
She does an amazing job playing Selena. And like, I'm not even no cap as the youngsters say, dude. I'm not even lying, dude. Like, they do the Astrodome performance.
The one with the purple fit.
Yes, dude, dude, she is on point. Dude.
But she had a little help though.
Of course,
she had a little help in the derriere.
Yeah,
I saw the still images. I was like, that photo right there tells me you ain't busting down no medium pizza by yourself.
For sure.
For those who remember the movie.
For sure.
You're not knocking down a medium pizza by yourself.
Yeah, there was a point when I was like, is that, what am I saying? Yeah, it is. It is. So what do you think behind that? Like, is it
what do I think is behind that?
Is it like a padded butt or is it like a butt suit? Like, what do you think? Like,
it's a booty caca. Not a boosty caca, but a booty caca. Ain't no bustier. It's a bootier. I don't know. It's a booty aid. That's what it is.
Well, I don't know if it's one of those suits like Miss Doubtfire put on, to make it look like.
Oh, Lord. They just gave me a flashback. Oh, my God. Because they showed that in the movie.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they showed him dressing.
Joseph, hey, man, we're going to have to we have to fill in real quick. Just cut us in to your next show, and then he can, Pete cut us back out.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think it was that. I think it was more of probably some kind of like fitted shorts, like a girdle shorts, tights, and it just had a little nalgalita right there, just
look good from our view.
Oh, God.
But no, honestly,
but you could see it. Could you see it? Was the seam evident in the show? Like, I'm sure they probably put a little editing in there, but from the images, it looked pretty. It stuck out. Pun intended.
It was good. I wasn't like, oh man, that's overboard.
Did you know before you watched it that it was fake? There was like a pad back there?
I hadn't done no research into the show as far as like behind the scenes or just because, I mean, Christian Serrato's is this, she's almost like a petite girl.
Very slender.
So for her to have that kind of booty, like I was like, it has to be, it has to be. So I just went ahead and assumed. And then I also listened to Pops and Shots. They kind of had their review on the whole Selena thing.
I'm gonna get in so much trouble with him.
Gabriel,
start beef.
I'm gonna forward this over to Jason.
Beef with all of them. only Jason's always like, I'm only cool with that guy. I'm cool with that guy. Shout out Jason.
Yeah, he's the cool one, man. He's the cool one.
No, I ain't playing fantasy with him no more. Yeah. Hey, no, we're cool. But I ain't playing fantasy with him no more.
I'm in that Recon Athlete League now.
Hey, might a couple spots opened up. Oh, speaking of fantasy football, I got invited to join a Dynasty Fantasy League. You ever heard of that? Me neither, man.
Not until you told me.
So I got a phone call, and it was my buddy Jason. Shout out to Larry. Happy birthday, Larry. Great guy, great human, great man. So Larry is Jason's dad. So Jason called me up, and he's like, "Hey, P-Rod." So everybody calls me P-Rod. So if you ever hear people say it, that's why. So he was like, "P-Rod, we got this thing going on. We want you to be a part of it. It's a dynasty football league." And basically, long story short, he rounds it all out. So let me give you the concise version. The concise version is you have a fantasy team. It's you and a partner. You have a fantasy team, and the fantasy begins when the NFL league year begins in March. And once the draft occurs, the NFL draft, you have a rookie draft for a taxi squad. A taxi squad can be any rookie on your team that you keep for 1 year on the bench. You can't use them, but you can hold them. You can reserve them as a quote-unquote red shirt as a term. Then you do your regular draft whenever you do it. But here's the difference. Every player you draft, you keep. Well, here's the slick part. Here's the slick part. If you're picking at a certain position, you can trade your pick. But you can trade your pick for next year's draft position. So let's say you're the Dallas Cowboys, like they did this year, and they traded their spots from 10 to 12, and they got Philadelphia's third for 2022. You would be the same thing. You can do the same kind of action. P-Rod's team can draft with James's team. James can go to 10. P-Rod goes to 12. But to get the deal done, P-Rod needs James's 2022 third-round pick. So you lose it, I gain it, which means I can gain more assets, which means I can get better players, and I can keep those players until they either retire or we cut them. So you're handling the fantasy league like a real football team. And then you can trade players. You can trade players for positions. You can trade players for anything. You can trade anything. But the key part is like you can go find sleepers that are rookies that do not get to play on your team, but they can play in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like here, a good one is that rookie running back from Boston College. Is it AJ Quinn?
Green Bay?
Yeah, Green Bay.
AJ Dillon.
AJ Dillon. So AJ Dillon would be like a good taxi squad pick for your team as an example.
Okay.
So
thinking long term, right?
Yeah, this is a very highly competitive long-term fantasy draft that takes it's going to take a lot of attention, but it seems so competitive that like you get to do more than just like draft one player and manage them for 1 year. It's like you draft one player and then you get to keep them year in and year out as long as they're healthy and they don't get cut. And then you can trade them or you can do, trade up for positions, what have you. But it's a more comprehensive fantasy league to like participate in.
So did you accept the invite?
Goddamn right I did. Hell yeah. I was like, no brainer.
Hey, y'all gonna throw a little money incentive into the Recon Athlete League
for next year?
Yeah.
That's a different league. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I haven't decided what we're gonna do. I still need to like think about that. It's coming soon though. I've thought about doing it like at a venue live, like everybody in person, but
come on, COVID's over, bro.
Yeah, but you have some of these people out there that they're just not about that life. Like, they're married, they have families, they're going to give me every excuse. So we're going to have to figure that part out.
Okay.
But yeah, the Recon Fantasy League should be coming up pretty soon. So you're making a motion that you want to pay money to contribute to potentially win money?
Yeah, just because so I have my main league that I do. I've been in it for like 7 years.
We're talking like $1, right? Yeah, I think we're talking about $1.
Okay. So I'm in my league.
The feds are listening.
That I'm in, and it's highly incentivized. So
yeah, of course.
So yeah, they're already voting on like changes and stuff like that, and I was like, oh shit, like it's rolling around soon. It's gonna be here before we know it. And if you remember, like last year, I don't know, man. I kind of just lost interest, and there was some times where I wouldn't even change my roster and stuff like that. And I started off strong in the Recon Athlete League.
Yeah.
And like I felt like I could have finished a whole lot better than what I did, but
yeah, we're gonna put some rules in place so that if people are gonna forget to set their lineup, they're gonna be held against you. So everybody will be put on notice. Everybody will have an understanding to set your lineups. I mean, I've been guilty of it too. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Well, you can't reprimand me unless it has to do with money. So
no. It would be like you lose a pick. It would be something like that.
Oh, okay.
It would be like, oh, okay, let me take care of this so I don't lose picks. It would be something like that.
Oh, okay.
Something that really like makes an impact on your team, not just like slap on the wrist kind of thing.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Anything else you're looking forward to? Any new shows coming out?
No new shows really. I think the next Marvel thing we got lined up is Loki, the Loki show. Which I've seen that sort of reaction from a lot of fellow.
It's the time travel thing.
Yeah,
that's what doesn't do it for me.
Well, that's kind of what intrigued me.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, because he's dead, right? And so I'm like, oh, okay, you're keeping him alive. I get it, but like you said, you throw anything Marvel my way, I'm gonna take a watch.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm getting into. I watched a little bull riding this weekend in between the national championship, like right before it. I was like, let me get some bull riding, dude. That's a sport. Like, that's a no joke sport. You got these 2-ton animals. You're tying a rope in their gonads, and you're getting on their back. And they're in this cage, and then they let them out of the cage, and you're on their back, and you're trying to hold on for 8 seconds while there's a rope around their gonads. And then they want to kill you whenever the rope is like really like, oh, you were the one on my back? I'm gonna go kill you. Yeah. And then you have the bullfighters. They're not clowns anymore. Can't be. It's
Why
like,
not?
They got canceled, bro. They're bullfighters now. They're bullfighters.
They really got canceled.
Yeah, bro.
What was the argument behind that?
Who cares? Who cares? They got canceled.
You mean bring me on Dark Side to talk about it?
That's goddamn right. Got canceled. But yeah, man. So now, those guys are nuts. They'll go and try to like grab the bull's snout to like get them to run at them, and then they'll just like tuck and roll to get out of the way. It's crazy. They're nuts.
Yeah. So yeah. Topic for Wednesday. I'm gonna ask Austin. I'm like, did you know this? And then of course I'm just gonna cut him loose like a bull for 8 seconds and see what he has to say about
just
it.
Spar him, man. Just spar him. Yeah. All right, guys. I think we're getting off the rails a little bit. Look out for the food challenge promo that will be dropping tonight. Give a like, subscribe if y'all are enjoying the channel. We'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, Aaron Rodgers will come out with a new contract. Everybody will be happy. I'll be happy. And if not, we'll just probably talk about Aaron Rodgers tomorrow just to kind of get back on the horse. He's been real quiet lately. Yeah. He's been it's good for him, though. It's good for his position.
Yeah, it's good for a story that had no sources to begin with.
Apparently, little tease. Rumors out of Houston might be a settlement coming soon. Settlement. Maybe. Rumors. We'll be back tomorrow.